Huh. Huh. Haha, you're not flanking me today. Salutations, friends. Welcome to another Pauper video. My name is Pietro, and if this is your first time seeing this deck, I'm gonna be playing an old classic from Pauper today. I'll be playing with Slivers, which is one of the tribes that has been represented the longest in the format, I believe. Ever since I started playing this, like over 10 years ago, Slivers has been a deck. And honestly, the core of the deck hasn't really changed much. The only difference is that we have like a couple new additions that try to make the deck more consistent. And if you've never seen the mechanic before, basically every sliver has an ability that they give to all other slivers in play. Now, there is some strangeness here because some of the slivers that we are going to play buff everything, including opponent's creatures like Sinew Sliver, Muscle Sliver, and some slivers do not. Some slivers are only going to buff um, our own slivers. So list is pretty stock. I took this one from Venancio. He 5-0'd, I think, a couple weeks ago. And I really enjoyed the list because it's playing Jolted Awake and Recommission. So we have 8 reanimation spells in the main deck, which I think it's pretty good. Sideboard is pretty stock. We have Masked Vandal, Lone Missionary, and Crown of Awe against red, some Fairy Macabre and Thraben Charm in the sideboard. I think I tweaked a couple cards from the sideboard just for my own preference. I have never played this deck before. It's going to be a first for me. So I hope you guys enjoy, and hopefully it's going to go quick. Let's see how it goes. See you guys for round number 1. Welcome to round number 1. We are on the play against Paul 16. I would love to be on the play. This hand seems absolutely fine. We got 2 lands, 3 lords, a card draw spell, and a reanimation spell. I'm down with this. And keep in mind, in game number 1, even though we are playing Citadel Gates, our mana base doesn't have any sort of off-color cards yet. Post-sideboard, we have like a couple options, but in game number 1, we are just looking at going straight down the green-white route. It seems like we're playing against Jund, and guess I'll just pop off. Sliver into sliver into sliver. I wouldn't mind drawing a third land here. Immediate cast down. Would have loved another land so I could bring back our Sinew Sliver. Ichor Wellspring, that's okay. County Garden as a blocker. Well, we certainly have slivers. You could make an argument here that maybe I could play Winding Way trying to find a land, but I don't know if I want to do that. I know that our opponent just said LOL. I don't know why, but okay. Oh, they're saying LOL because I played my Lord post-combat. I mean, that is a valid point, isn't it? Guess I should have done that before combat. Makes sense. So our opponent played a Bojuka Bog and then played a Nile Spellbomb. So they definitely have a lot of graveyard hate. I wouldn't mind just playing this game for a while, and then we can attempt to bring back some of our dudes in a little bit. And we are back. So opponent blocked, and then cast in Eviscerator's Insight on their Ichor Wellspring. I guess they are looking for a Shaman or a Chrysalis. Could be too. Because otherwise I think it would have been better for them to just sacrifice the plant. So there's another Ichor Wellspring and another Insight. So we have lethal here if our opponent doesn't have a blocker. And looks like they don't. We have a Lord for the Jolted Awake, so I will play my land first. And let's see if our opponent dies. Ooh, Snuff Out. Okay. So they're gonna go to 2 life here. Oh, and they have Defile. Oh, Defile just to reduce our sliver. Okay. So they are playing like a gardens deck. They are not playing what's its face? They're not playing Jund Wildfire. Okay. So considering how what our hand looks like, I think I am going to Jolted Awake here just to stop them from drawing a card. Yes. Okay, that just worked. That's fine. That's interesting. Our opponent is at 4 life. Okay. Chrysalis is 3 blocks. County Garden is 1 more block. Are they going to have the removal? Do I want to Plated Sliver here, or do I just want to get in? I think I just get in and then we see what happens. I can't imagine we're going to kill our opponent this turn, them having 4 blockers and all. But guess what? And they just concede. Okay, so that was easy. All right. So this seems like a traditional just Jund Gardens list. I don't even know if there's anything we want to change because I think we just want to be aggressive. I guess I'll bring in a Winged Sliver in an attempt to have a little bit of evasion. And what am I cutting for that? Maybe like a Universal Automaton, since the Automaton is like the weakest of the Slivers. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna sideboard other than that. So that was pretty good. They didn't have any board wipes. It was just like 1-for-1s, and we had a bunch of lords. That's great. So this hand has a lot of lands. We have a couple lords. I guess I'm keeping, and then we'll just try to draw our important slivers. Okay, forest is not great, but at least it allows us to easily cast our predatory sliver. I am going to start off with blue because of Winged Sliver here, but ideally I'm only going to play Winged Sliver when we already have attackers, so it can serve as an extra bit of reach. I suppose I can cycle a landscape eventually, right? So let's just predatory sliver, just a little 2/2 guy. Duress, and they hit a Jolted Awake, so that's fair. If they had Duress the previous turn, they wouldn't have hit anything. And an Ichor Wellspring. Okie dokie, we find another Jolted Awake. Okay. Guess I'm gonna Sinu, crash for 3, and I'll play one of the landscapes. And then I'll end of turn crack it for a second green mana, I imagine. Okay, so they don't have Chrysalis yet. Grab a forest, untap. That's a lot of lands that we are drawing. I'm not happy with that. I'm not going to do anything pre-combat. We have the Winged Sliver, but I can't imagine it's going to change anything. I don't expect our opponent to have flash blockers. Cast down, sure, and take 2. All right. So guess I am just going to play Winged Sliver, and I am going to Jolted Awake our predatory sliver here. Opponent cracks the Twisted Landscape. Yes, I would love to have that back. Thank you very much. Okay, so currently, Chrysalis is pretty bad because it does block our board very well. But doesn't seem like we're going to get hit with a Chrysalis just yet. I really want to draw... Okay, that's pretty good because the plant doesn't block any of our things. However, I do imagine we're going to get hit with some form of removal here. Probably on... Oh, no. Okay. I thought we were going to get hit on the Winged Sliver. So opponent just going to take 4. Guess I'll recommission back the predatory sliver. Comes back with a counter. And then at end of turn, we are going to cycle our Tranquil Landscape. That's pretty good. It's a 4/4 now. There's a Chrysalis. There is. That's fine. And an immediate cast down onto something else. No, just another Ichor Wellspring. Okie dokie. Opponent is playing Defiles. Yeah, the Nihil Spellbomb now is kind of eh. So I am going to cycle this. Draw. Ooh, that's what we want to see. Okay, good hits. So let's Winding Way. Let's choose Creature. And we just draw 1. But it is a pretty good one, because it's one that allows us to trade with the Chrysalis in combat. I don't think there's any point in playing the Automaton yet, so let's just get in. So, yeah, this actually doesn't kill, right? Because they can sacrifice the spawn. Yeah, I think I miscounted a bit. They're going to sacrifice the spawn, the Chrysalis is going to be a 3/4. And then it is going to kill our Sinuous Liver. Not great, not great. But they are going to take 7 damage here. And I'll play another Automaton. Not another Automaton, I mean another Sliver. So opponent is at 6. And currently we have lethal on board. But I don't imagine it's going to stay like this. We really wanted to hit more from our Winding Way. We hit like 2 lands, a Lead the Stampede, and the Sinuous Liver. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Let's see if that's enough. Breath Weapon. That sucks. So, yep, okay. So that is going to kill 3 of our guys. Oh, it doesn't kill the Automaton because it's a dragon. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I could attack with a Predatory Sliver, in which case our opponent can block and they trade. And then I am left with not enough power next turn, so I won't do that. Guess I'll just pass. So the fact that... Oh, and they even have the thing. Okay. So I'm glad I didn't attack, because otherwise I would lose most of my board. So pretty funny that the Universal Automaton actually survives Breath Weapon. That is maybe another thing to consider. They explore, find a swamp, probably pop the Nile Spellbomb, just pass the turn. And now is the point where I feel like we are no longer favored at all, because our opponent has much better top decks than we do. They are not at a low enough life where we can force... Yeah, okay, I'm fine conceding here and just going to game number 3. We could keep playing for a while longer, but I don't think there's much of a point in doing that. Now, would I like to have Crown of Awe? Because it's protection from black and red, which I think can be pretty interesting, and it can also save us from Breath Weapon. I think so. I think that's a valid choice. I'm not going to cut any of the Lords. I'm not going to cut any card draw. Guess I'll cut a couple Sidewinders. But then we go to 22 creatures. That is pretty low. So guess I'll cut 1 lead. Maybe cut like Recommission. Bring back the Automaton. Cut another Recommission. Because I think Jolted Awake is going to be better overall. Yeah, try to buff our creature count a bit. This hand is not amazing, but we have multiple early game plays and we have a Crown of Awe to put on something important. I think this is fine, because this is a turn 2 Winding Way. We have Callers, we have some protection, recursion. Yeah, okay, I think that's cool. I'm down with this. Opponent mulligan to 6. So the big difference between this... Oh, I guess my camera is a little big for you guys, right? Let's make that a tiny bit smaller. Yeah, okay. So we now know that our opponent is a Snuff Out deck. I'm going to play the Plated Sliver first because it doesn't die to Defile, in case they start off with that. Second Winding Way. I think I'm just going to immediately go Winding Way for creature. And we hit 2. We mill a land and another Winding Way. Okay. So it's okay. We have like a lot of small creatures, but we have no lords, and I really want a lord here. I would love to have a lord. And that's an Ichor Wellspring. There's our lord. So am I opening myself up to Breath Weapon? I don't believe I am, right? I mean, I can actually dodge it, right? Yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess I'll go Plated Sliver into Automaton, and then I'll hit for 1. And I'm gonna do it like this, because then we are not getting hit by Breath Weapon, and we can play the Predatory Sliver next turn. Opponent holds up a thing. Guess I'll get in for 2, because I need the green mana. And I fully expect that my Predatory Sliver is gonna get killed here, which means that I'll be able to hopefully bring it back next turn. I guess I could have played it before combat again, right? But I don't imagine it's going to survive regardless. Yeah, so it was going to die either way. I guess I didn't say it, but my reasoning was that I wanted to see if they were going to pull the trigger on something pre-combat, in which case maybe they would have to kill my guy on their turn. Like, it didn't work out in the end, but that is what was going through my mind at the time. I guess I'm fine just trying to Jolted Awake this back right now, and we'll see if our opponent pulls the trigger. They do. That's okay. I am just going to get in for 3 here, and I think we are just going to Winding Way again. We hit 2. Okay, that's okay. So we got a Lord and a Sidewinder. Both are pretty good. The thing that I don't want to see this turn is like Snuff Out into Breath Weapon. Chrysalis is pretty annoying too, but I guess it's just a dude. Okay. I would really like to draw a land. Are you going to play a night card immediately? Yes. Okay. Okay. So, do I just... Because it's 2, 4, 3, 5... I could play both of these and get in, and our opponent can block, but they don't kill it and they take some damage. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this instead of doing Crown of Awe, because I think Crown of Awe gets got by Snuff Out pretty badly, and I would like to avoid that if at all possible. Okay, so it looks like our opponents just have 6th, in which case I guess I will Crown of Awe my Sinuous Liver immediately. I cannot attack because Chrysalis would eat one of my guys, but at least now the Crown of Awe protects our Lord, and I can crack it if I ever want to protect the rest of our dudes. Say our opponent plays like a Toxin Analysis. I don't think they're playing Krark and Toxin Analysis, but in case they are, we can avoid that a little bit. Opponent has 9 cards in hand, so 8 cards. Keep in mind, Sinuous Liver can be blocked by Chrysalis. Chrysalis, as we all know, is not red. Would love to draw another Lord, and they are just going to discard a card. Discard another draw spell. Ooh, lead? Do I just want to deploy? I guess I'll play Sidewinder, because it actually affects combat, and then we'll see what happens, right? So, currently, our opponent cannot kill our creatures in combat. However, if they have a removal spell, that is no longer true. Do I just go... No, I guess I play the lead first, right? Can we hit one creature? Yeah, I think, I get it. Any order. But that is one of the problems of playing with so many, reanimation effects. It's that a lot of the time your cards are not going to do what you want them to do. I would imagine there's a cast down in my Sidewinder's future. On Plated Sliver. Sure. Yeah, because that actually would allow them to eventually Breath Weapon once they kill the other one. Sure, you can take a look at my hand that has no spells. Cracks a Landscape. I would really not like to... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I would really not like to see another removal spell, because another removal spell here means that my creatures are now susceptible to Breath Weapon, which I think they are going to play. So, do I care? Not really, right? Because Breath Weapon only kills Sidewinder. Universal Automaton is still good. Sinuous Liver is still good. And I guess I'll just deploy my whole board. The automatons don't get hit by a second Breath Weapon. Micro Wellspring. Draw a bunch of cards. I would love to hit my other lords here. I'll take any Sliver draw. I just don't want to see more lands. Even Reanimation is pretty good, because Reanimation gives us back Plated Sliver. Okay, Sidewinder's Liver actually works, I guess. So... No, it actually doesn't, right? Because the Chrysalis still outsizes my Slivers. Okay, I guess I'm just passing again. That is very annoying. I guess it resolves. I need to draw Lords very badly. Oh, that's a bad sign. Yep. Second Chrysalis is really annoying. A Lambus, sure. So the good news is that our opponent doesn't have a ton of cards in hand. The bad news is that we can't really get in. Yep, that's gonna happen a lot. I guess I'll play one of the lands, but we're just kind of stuck now. And here you can see the difference that it makes, the fact that Chrysalis is not red, because if it was, we wouldn't have to worry so much about our Sinuous Liver. We could just be chipping in for damage and then eventually try to overrun our opponent. But that's not going to happen, and our opponent has much better draws than we do. And there's a third Chrysalis. Yep. And now all their Chrysalises are going to be enormous. They're going to be like 8/9s. I mean, one of them is going to be an 8/9. The other are going to be like 6/7s. Bajuka Bog is annoying. That is bad. Our opponent is not far off from being able... Yeah, I was going to say. Our opponent is not far off from being able to start attacking. Especially because they have 6 extra life hanging around in those Lambus. Plus 3 cards in hand. Okay, guess I'll play that. Again, game is not over, but it's pretty close. Are you just gonna crack the limb? They're still drawing cards. Yep. Cast down, sure. So, I guess if I don't draw a card draw spell into some crazy sequence of slivers here, I'm fine conceding and moving on to the next one. Opponent has stabilized and we just drew badly. You can see how the big difference. Is this the 4th crystal? No, okay, it's a troll, Khazad-dûm. Okay, I'm fine calling it quits here. You saw our opponent's deck did what it's supposed to do, stabilized, and we got. We drew kind of badly, but Chrysalis is just a messed up magic card. I'll see you guys for round number 2 in just a bit. Welcome to round number 2. We are on the play against luckvalravn. So on one hand, this hand seems very appealing. On the other hand, it is slow. And if our first sliver dies, we're kind of in a bind because we don't have a green mana. I think I'm going to mulligan this one. This hand has the opposite problem. I guess I'm keeping a 5. This is really bad, huh? I guess I'm chucking a Sidewinder, and I'm hoping that our opponent doesn't kill our only one sliver. But yeah, things are not looking great for us right now. A Razor-Tide Bridge, so yikes. I mean, I'll do my thing, but... So I would imagine we're playing against Cryoblade. That was a very unfortunate sequence of mulligans, by the way. Yep, there's the Relic. Guess I'm hitting for 2. Relic number 2. Opponent has another bridge. I mean, that's a land, but it is going to be very slow overall, I think. If we are playing against Esper Cryoblade, there is a chance that we can stabilize before they start removing our dudes. But they are going to draw a million cards, and they do play Journeys. Sometimes just replay the Relic. Are they trying to find the 4th land? Bajuka Bog, sure. So it does seem like it is Esper Cryoblade. And they'll be discarding a card. Okay, Sidewinder is not bad. I will just play Predatory, and we're gonna get in. Hit for 4. Thoughtcast. Opponent has all the card advantage in the world. Blade, just straight up cast down. Okay. Would love to draw land. Oh, it's Esper Affinity. It's not Cryoblade. Okay. Didn't draw land. So I think I am just going to double spell here. Jolt it away. Yes. Into Sidewinder. And we can't really attack yet, but at least we put 2 creatures on the board this turn for 2 mana. Sure, Navigator's Compass gives them some life. Is this another cast down? Another cast down. Okay. Do you have another removal spell? Yep. Green Bauble on the Sidewinder. On the Sidewinder? Interesting. I would have thought you would want to kill the Plated Sliver before you did that. Interesting. So I could Winding Way and try to hit a 1-drop to play, or I could Sinnoh Sliver, so my creatures are out of range of Green Bauble. And I actually think I am going to Sinnoh Sliver. Even if that is less mana efficient, I do think I want to take off their possibility of just bouncing the Green Bauble and killing another dude. That is annoying. Sure. If they have a bounce for that, I think we are toast. We just got off the ground too slow this game. We mulliganed to 5, kept a 1-lander that didn't even produce colored mana properly. Yeah, I guess there's what is this? Another? Jeez, they drew the 3rd cast down? Good for them. Yeah, okay. So our opponent had all the removal spells in hand. Alright. So I suppose I'll play this first, right? Play this. Hope. We hit like 4 creatures. We hit 1. Yeah, the Winding Ways have been really lackluster. Like, I think the biggest one I did was for 2 so far. They cycle Fumes. Good to know about, but I don't imagine it's going to stay for games 2 and 3, hopefully. Okay. I'm fine conceding now. Opponent has a lot of removal. That's fine. So, we're bringing in the Masked Vandals, for sure. Are we bringing in Crown of Awe? So, again, it's that thing of like, do I want to dilute the game plan? This is a matchup where I do think the universal automatons are outclassed pretty quickly. I would rather have slivers that have text. Winged Sliver can help get in for the extra points of damage. Honestly, maybe I'll cut a recommission again. Bladeback Sliver is not for this matchup. I think we are a little light on removal for this game. Guess I'll bring back the automaton and we'll try like this. Okay, that's a keepable hand. So this is a hand that does pretty much everything we want, which is a good thing. Opponent mulligan to 6. We have triple creature, reanimation, card advantage, 2 lands that cast our spells. Sign me up. They kept on 6, that's fine. Plays a bridge. Okay, that's good. Guess I'll play a Sliver Lord right away and get in. It's not trivial for our opponent to have untapped black mana, so I think I'll try my best to just punch them while they are fumbling to set up their thing. 2 mana. Journey? Just a passing of the turn, huh? Guess I'll muscle Sliver. 6. Opponent is taking it. Okay. Thoughtcast. Glint Hawk as a blocker? Sure. Yep. Bounce your land. Yep, that's great. That's not lethal because they have a blocker. Okay. I'm fine with everything that's going on here. Cryogen? What are they even looking for? Yep. So we just did the Sliver thing. We played a Sliver on turn 1, 2, 3, 4, and our opponent died. That was pretty good. I imagine that on the draw that's going to be a little harder to do. Honestly, I think I'm just going to cut a Lead the Stampede and bring back in the Automaton, and I'll just try to do that again. Just be like the curve out beatdown deck. Sure, this hand is great again. We have Slivers turn 1, 2, 3, 4 and a reanimation. I'm fine with everything. We even have untapped lands, which are not always easy to come by when you're playing a deck that is an aggressive deck that is 2 or more colors. Sidewinder or Plated. Guess I'll start with Sidewinder. I don't know if they are playing Thrabins, but if they are, at least Sidewinder attacks into them. Just Relic, sure. Guess I'll play Sinew Sliver. I would really like if our opponent started killing our guys this game, so I could bring them back for a single mana. There's a black land. Glint Hawk, bounce the Relic. Yep, cast down. Thraben Charm, sure. Land. Not land, but at least it is a castable card. Jolted Awake. Yep. I can't play Plated Sliver, so I will just play the Automaton, and I will attack, because if our opponent blocks, their Glint Hawk dies. Thoughtcast. If our opponent kills our Sinew Sliver here and we don't draw a land, I am just going to recommission. Oh? What is this? Are we gonna get into some sort of suffocating fumes scenario? Okay. So, in this case, I guess I just play another Lord pre-combat and we attack? Because I believe I'm fine. Okay. That's just a block and a draw. Sure. Take your 6. Refurb. Guess I'll chuck a recommission. Opponent is not technically dead here. They can replay the Relic. Yep. Ooh, Mirror Enforcer. Do you have another one? Okay. So, I think I just play Plated Sliver and shove. Yeah, I think that's it. Play, shove. Blocking is really bad for our opponent currently, but if they don't block anything, they die. So they need to at least block once. Ooh. No, yeah, I was gonna say, that's not what you want to do, opponent. Double blocking against flanking is horrendous. Sure, so they're just gonna go to 1. Okie dokie. Do your thing. Tithing Blade. Guess I'll get rid of Sidewinder. Oh, I should have sacrificed the Automaton. What am I talking about? That was absolute nonsense. Sidewinder has text, Automaton is just a dude. Now I'll sacrifice this. Opponent is still dead. Yeah, we did the Slivers thing! And this is a thing that lots of people have been saying about Cryoblade. The deck seems very powerful, but at the end of the day, sometimes you're just drawing cards and not doing anything with them. I think our opponent ended the game with 4 cards in hand, right? They drew 2 cards at the end of the game. So our opponent had 4 cards in hand, and they just got beat down. Like, It wasn't even our most powerful draw. We had a bunch of power in hand still if we needed. Well, I guess I'll see you guys for round number 3. Welcome back to round number 3. Our opponent said, hi, good luck, have fun. We are on the draw against Human 33. Hand doesn't seem amazing, but seems fine. We can go Sliver into Sliver. Ooh, County Garden. So is this yet another... that's actually bad, and I didn't consider the fact that we don't have green mana, did I? Rough. Yeah, I just noticed that we don't have green mana, so that might bite us back. Guess we'll see. Oh, is this... Oh, it's Dredge! Hello, my beloved. How are you doing today? So what they hit? A Wayfinder. Okie dokie. That's very good. Very good. I would be thrilled if our opponent killed one of our Slivers, but I know it's not going to happen because Dredge doesn't do that. So I think we are definitely the underdog in game number 1. Starting game 2, we have like Fairy Macabre to try and Thraben Charm to try and interact a bit more. But I also just think that I kept a hand that is a little questionable. I really need to hit a green mana next turn, otherwise I think my momentum is gonna die in its tracks and it's not gonna be good enough to take him down. Let's see our second mill. It's a double Knot to the Bone, and they did hit a couple lands. Now, of note, our opponent has 1 creature in their graveyard so far. So that's not the worst. The Knot to the Bones currently are just like a couple mana, a couple life points. And our opponent does have a bunch of chump blockers, but Dredge really values having the creatures in play to try and kill you. Okay, they played the Geothermal Bog. It's a pretty good land because it fixes their colors. I think I'm pretty incentivized to cycle this immediately. Yep, not great. We are beating down, but our clock is very slow. Good news is that our opponent doesn't have any stinkweeds in the graveyard. Town Greeter. And now they hit 4 creatures. Yup. So this is either going to be a long game, because we're going to have to hit for a lot of damage, or this is going to be a very short game. Do you have the Stinkweed Imp? No, but you have a Dread Return. Are you bringing it back immediately? From the looks of it, yeah. Immediate Lotled Giant for 6, 7? What are we doing? Immediate Lotled Giant for 7. Now, that's not... Ooh, that's great. That's not all bad, actually. Because we get to attack, they're gonna eat our Sinuous Liver, and then I'm gonna bring it back. Second main, recommission, bring our boy back, play this, and now we have green mana. However, we could just die this turn. Imp, no Dread Return. Do you have an untapped land to stabilize? Cycle, so no untapped land. But things are gonna be pretty bad next turn, because our opponent's gonna gain like 24, 30 life or something. Or we're gonna die. Okay, we're dead. They hit another Dread Return. I won't make them go through it. So that draw was pretty unfortunate, but overall I think it was bad for us regardless. We want all the graveyard hate, and I am going to cut most of the reanimation package in this matchup. Do I want to cut more? Yes, actually. Winged Sliver is really good because it's evasion. Do I just want to cut everything? So if I cut both Jolted Awakes, what am I attempting to bring in? Maybe the Blade back? Try to deal those last few points of damage? I guess just the Vandals, because the Vandals can hit the dogs. Yeah, guess I'm fine with this. And let me just say, if you're watching right now and you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe, because statistically, 75% of you guys that are watching the video right now are not subscribed to the channel. So please do. I have facts. I have analytics. I would like to play first. So we have colors, but we don't have blue. We would need some help from the top deck. Is this good enough? Like, if I draw a single land, I think this is already not good enough. So I guess I'll mulligan. So this is turn 1, Plated Sliver, turn 2, tap land, turn 3, Lead the Stampede, Hope. This is another 4-land hand. I think that's not good enough still. Unfortunate. Okay, this is the best hand we've seen. We have all the colors. I guess I'm bottoming both Fairy Macabre, which is not good because they're going to be on the bottom. But at least I have 3 Slivers that we can play. Yep, I guess that's what we're doing. And I will play the Citadel Gate on blue, so I have access to Winged Sliver. Blue. When I was deciding the list that I wanted to play, I also saw another list that some folks from Italy were playing. That's really good for us, actually, because I get to double spell next turn. So what am I playing this turn? I guess just Predatory Sliver. And I saw a list that some folks from Italy were playing where they had a lot of the utility slivers in the deck, like the Regeneration one and the Provoke one and things like that. And I thought that list was really interesting. But since I am very new to this archetype, I thought it would be best to just try to keep it simple. We are missing another Lord here. If we hit another Lord, maybe there's a chance, but our opponent did hit a Stinkweed Imp on their first mill and dredged into Locklet Giant. They still don't have Knot to the Bone, but it's not looking great for us. And I believe they are playing Mars's list. Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. That's just a blocker, and it's very annoying. I would love to have a Sidewinder now, but I do not. So I guess I'm not allowed to attack with a Predatory Sliver. I guess I'll just... is that even... Yeah, that's... Because the problem is that now they're going to block sacrifice... Not sacrifice. They're going to kill my Winged Sliver, take 2, but then they can dredge again and again and again, and I don't have a Fairy Macabre. Yeah, I think we lost this one already. The mulligan to 5 was not great, and the fact that we couldn't keep the Graveyard Hate. So that's 8 creatures. They have 3 creatures currently. We are not dead this turn, but probably next turn. Okay, so they're just gonna go for it immediately. Land Druid. Okay, there's a Knot to the Bone. They have 10 creatures. Yep. Do I even want to attack? I think I'm fine conceding and calling it quits. Again, our draw was pretty mediocre. Just a lot of lands. I understand why this deck plays 21 lands, but I also think that sometimes it's a lot. You saw we have both flooded and we both flooded and missed land drops frequently in these games. So the mana base is pretty weird sometimes, which is one of the reasons why I think that maybe the lists that play with things like Gemhide Sliver and the like can be an interesting choice, because then you can kind of do the beatdown stormy thing with the Gemhide Slivers, but you can also sometimes just like play a Sliver, play a Winding Way, generate some mana, play your things, and you keep going instead of getting stuck. We are on the draw. Oh, by the way, welcome to round number 4. We are on the draw against FF7. So this is weird. I guess this is tap land on 1, followed by double Sliver, followed by Lead the Stampede. I guess I'm keeping Ponder. Is this going to be Terror? That doesn't change anything because it's not white mana. I think this can just be green mana with no huge consequence. Is this Delver? Is this High Tide? No play. So I guess I'm playing Landscape. No, not true, right? I guess I'm playing Forest, Plated Sliver, Automaton. Everything just resolved. Brainstorm. Basic Island into Ponder Brainstorm doesn't tell me anything. It could be a million decks. Lorien to Shuffle. Oh, Mental Note. Okay, so it is Terror. Okay. And they do have 5 spells already. So there could be some Terror Ring happening right now. Sure. Is it going to be Ponder into double Terror? If yes, it would be a problem. I can also double spell next turn, so I think I'm fine. They did not shuffle, just 1 Terror. Alright. So for the sake of mana efficiency, I still think I just deploy my guys. I cannot attack, but if our opponent wants to race we can race them currently. And next turn, there is a decent chance that I can winding way into something. I won't be able to play both Sleep of the Dead. Sleep of the Dead can be annoying, but I think that in a matchup where I have so many creatures is not that big of a deal. I just don't want to see more terrors. Deem Inferior. Sure, I'll put it on top. Sure, I'll take 6. Ooh, and there is another terror. So that's not what I wanted to see. I will Winding Way. We're gonna hit... Ooh, we hit 3. Not bad. So what is it now, right? Is it 2 guys? So my Muscle's Liver... No, I think it's Muscle's Liver. Because if I play 2 dudes, I think we fall too far behind. But we might have to consider blocking very soon, which is not something that you ever want to do with this deck. But I guess if I triple block the Terror, it's not even that bad, right? Do you have another Deem Inferior? If you do, that is bad. Or are you just Sleep of the Dead? Sleep of the Dead. Sure, that is tapped. Okay, so this attack is actually very annoying for me because if I triple block with the Muscle's Liver, I lose 2 slivers in the process. No, actually I lose everything, right? Because they kill Muscle's Liver and Plated Sliver. 1, 2. So it's 3 plus 2. No, I would lose 2 slivers. I think I'm just taking it, honestly. And maybe we'll try to do something next turn. I'll just go to 3. So Sleep of the Dead is going to be very annoying here, specifically because our opponent had a second terror. Okay, so taking our damage, passing off the turn, holding up Counterspell. It's a Delver of Secrets. Delver of Secrets actually does make a big difference here because if it flips, doesn't matter what we play. Guess I'll play a land. And okay, so let's actually think about this for a bit, right? I have Lead the Stampede, and if I play it, it's not even gonna get countered. What do I want to find? Do I just want to play like 3 dudes? Play 3 dudes, crack a landscape? Yeah, I think I'm into that. So, dude number 1, dude number 2. I can actually crack both landscapes, right? Dude number 3. Okay, so they're gonna, let's say, I'm fully hoping the Delver doesn't flip, okay? Because if it flips, I'm just dead. I am attacking with the Muscle's Liver because I'm never blocking with this. And then, am I just gonna chump with something? Like chump with an Automaton and then super block something else? I guess. 3 life is pretty bad, though. Show me my fate. I'm ready to concede. Okay, we're dead. Delver flipped. Okay, so Winged Sliver, pretty good. Thraben Charm, pretty good. I think Recommissions can sort of go. And then we have a couple things like Fairy Macabre to maybe bring in. Fairy Macabre, I think I'm going to bring in a couple Fairy Macabres, especially on the play. Maybe I'll even cut like a lead and bring in the 3rd one. Because sometimes against this deck, you can Fairy Macabre early to just like knock him off balance long enough. That's not keepable. This is. So I guess I'm keeping it, and I am bottoming the Jolted Awake. Citadel into blue mana. Very funny that we have 1 Winged Sliver, and every time we've sighted it in, it has shown up. Play a cantrip. I don't want to get force spiked. Great. Cantrip it is. They do not shuffle. Predatory. So thinking about Blue Terror's sideboard, what are we looking at here? I don't even remember, honestly. I mean, does anyone want card advantage? I got some. I guess I'm just attacking first. Just a little hit for 2. Opponent's likely gonna take it, yep. I will try to play the Winged Sliver here. Resolves. That's interesting, okay. I would expect them to have something. Brainstorm. So they're likely going to brainstorm into Mental Note or Thought Scour. There's the Thought Scour. And they do have 5 cards in graveyard. Same as last game. There's a Serpent. Wouldn't mind drawing a land or a Lord. That is neither. So what are we doing here? Am I just playing this? Or am I trying to get more dudes? Or am I trying to get lands? So all of those are possibilities, right? We are currently racing our opponent, but I don't think that's going to be true for long. I guess with this many card advantage, I'll Winding Way trying to hit lands. Land. Okay, we hit 1. So we would have hit 2 slivers. We hit a land, but it's not the land that we wanted. Yeah. Somehow I feel like our deck doesn't hit lands or creatures frequently enough with Winding Way, which is a wild thing to say. Okay, they hit Envelop and Counterspell. So they have all the cards in the graveyard already. I think we might just get run over by snakes. Yep, that's really bad. Oh, and they left in the gut shot? That's nasty. Yeah, I think, like, I'm fine conceding here. I didn't think they would keep in gut shot because it's so easy for this card to be useless in the matchup, but I guess they, like, we got a little unlucky and they orchestrated a situation where the gut shot works. Yep, we're just done here. Like, I can play a sliver plus like a draw spell, or a draw spell, hit the Lord, play the Lord, but they are going to untap, hit us for 11, and then we're just going to be dead. So yeah, congratulations to our opponent. They just completely ran us over this game. I'll be back here in a bit for the last round. See you soon. Welcome back to the final round. Let's see if we can at least 2-3 this league. We were on the draw against SrPato, and they opened up with a snow-covered island. Not a very good sign for us, but let's see if we can make it work. And I am just going to try to stay ambiguous here. Forest into Automaton could be Slivers, but it could also be Petitioners. And they are playing High Tide. Yeah. So we were unfortunately on the draw, which means that probably we are just going to die turn 4. If we were on the play, I think there is a decent, especially with a hand like this, I think there is a decent chance that we could have gotten them, but I can't imagine we are going to goldfish them fast enough, especially now that they already found High Tide. I believe the only time in recent memory that I was happy playing against this deck was when I was recording the Mogwarts match, because Mogwarts, I felt, has a really good matchup against this. You are either as fast as them or faster, and you have a bunch of disruption, so I would say that is pretty good. But right now, I'm not feeling very confident. I guess I'll play like Muscle Sliver, play Tid Sliver, hit our opponent for 6. So we do have them on turn 4. The thing is that I believe we are just gonna die. Yeah, they're gonna do their thing. I'm gonna give you guys like the Cliff Notes version. I'll let them do their thing for a little bit, and then when it becomes very clear that they have it, I'll come back here and I'll let you guys know. Okay, so opponent has double Psychic Puppetry, and they are on their second Arcane spell, so they cast an Ideas Unbound, they cast a Pierce Through Depths. If they find another High Tide, and they have another spell here, oh, they go bottom. There's a Merchant Scroll for another High Tide. Okay. Oh, you have a Hidden Strings. Sure. High Tide. So here they go to 4. If they have another Arcane spell, I'm pretty sure we're dead. They just play Puppetry to untap. Okay. I guess we keep going then. Pieces of the puzzle. They hit another Puppetry, but they didn't hit an Ideas Unbound or... Okay, so they Brainstorm. I guess that could find them their next Arcane spell. Okay, so they play another Puppetry. Merchant Scroll again for another High Tide. Sure. Ideas Unbound, but they currently only have one Puppetry. Preordain. Top bottom. Pierce Through Depths. They reveal Lorien. Hidden Strings again. Okay. I believe they'll just cast the Lorien revealed. On third Merchant Scroll for another Pier. Okay, and they found their other Puppetry. They found the fourth one. So I am fine conceding now because they are just going to keep doing this for a while. It was a little dicey there for a little bit, but eventually they got it. Honestly, like, I don't think we have time for lead. I think Jolted Away can recommission are all useless. I guess I'll bring in the things that might have text. I guess I don't have time for Winding Way either, right? So the Fairy Macabres are not great, but they have text. Guess I'll bring Blade back. I have more cards than I can bring in, right? Thriven Charm, maybe. Guess I'll keep in the Winding Ways, and I'll keep in the Jolted Awakes, because at least they cycle. This is really bad for us. Like, we don't have a sideboard prepped to play against High Tide. This is okay. It's a little unexciting, but if we draw another Lord, we could Goldfish our opponent by turn 4. The Fairy Macabre is here mostly as decoration. It is a pretty card. Arcade Post is one of the greats. Interesting how this card is currently somewhat expensive on Magic Online. I mean, in paper too. But, oh, wait, I can't cast you, can I? On Magic Online, because of Pauper and Legacy, and because of the same reason, Spy. Spy decks are running rampant in both Pauper and Legacy right now. I mean, I guess a little more on Legacy than Pauper. Not what I wanted to draw. Sinew Sliver, hit for 2. I really need to hit any Sliver next turn. Like, I need to hit something that I can cast, because otherwise our Goldfish is going to be too slow. Brainstorm, Preordain, sure, they bottom. No lands, no lands. I mean, technically, you're not a land, right? Give me something good. Well, 3 dudes is not bad. Still not gonna be enough, I think. Because we hit for 4 now, and then we don't have a kill next turn, right? Yeah, even if I rip off a second Lord off the top, that's only gonna be 12 damage. So it's not gonna be a good enough kill. Plus, our opponent can be playing with snaps and all sorts of things. Yeah. The fact that they Merchant Scrolled for High Tide just likely means that we'll be dead. I'm still gonna do the thing, but it won't be fast enough. Have a dude! Pass the turn. So I guess we die. Okay, Ideas Unbound with a single puppetry. Second High Tide. Ideas Unbound with a single puppetry. Third High Tide. Pier. Pieces. Okay. They hit 3 lands, so they hit another Pieces and a Merchant Scroll. Hidden Strings. So I know I'm not in the minority here when I say this, but I don't really enjoy having this deck in the format very much. I think it's right, I mean, especially in paper. In paper, it's even worse because it messes up your tournament times and the rounds and whatnot. But, okay, that's the 4th High Tide. I'm just going to let them go here for like a couple minutes longer so I can chat with you guys, and then I'll concede. I don't really enjoy having this deck in the format because I think it kind of walls a lot of strategies off. The deck is extremely consistent. A lot of decks cannot race it. Like this is double turn 4 Q. And yes, I understand. Like, I let my opponent cantrip on turn 1, I let my opponent cantrip on turn 2. And like on turn 3, they had another cantrip plus a tutor to set up everything and whatnot. I get it. But I also don't enjoy the fact that this is a deck that can only be interacted with by counterspells or hand disruption. And normally one of those is not enough. Like, even if I had like a Pyroblast or something here, I don't enjoy the fact that Graveyard Hate is useless. I don't enjoy the fact... If this deck was playing with following some of the original lists that had like Archaeomancer loops with Snap and all those things, I think the deck would be absolutely fine for the format. You need the game to end somehow, right? But I think a deck that is consistently a turn 4 kill and can only be interacted via counterspells and hand disruption, I think it's a little too much. Our opponent is actually already like down to less than 15 cards in deck. I'm just gonna concede here. I'm fine. I don't have to keep watching to see the rest. I'll be back here with the wrap up in just a moment. All right, so what have we learned? What have we, I guess, done today? We got our ass kicked a lot. I think we could see that the biggest problem with the deck, and again, this is the version that I took, but this is the version that 5-0'd. Like, the deck was this. The little changes I made to the sideboard, I would argue, were in an attempt to make us better against the matchups that we saw today. and that still was not good enough. I think the deck is not fast enough to compete. It's also not consistent enough to compete. Plus, in my opinion, it's just not very fun. I enjoyed playing other aggressive decks here on the channel. I had a blast with decks that I had never tried before, but playing this deck feels exactly like I thought it would feel. It's a deck where you look at your opening hand and you already know sometimes that you're gonna lose. Like, the moment you mulligan the first hand and your second hand is still not good enough, you already know that you're gonna die. I don't think that's very interesting as a deck choice. Maybe if we were playing a deck that had more to it, a deck that, as I mentioned, had the utility Slivers, a deck that had Gem Hide and things like this, maybe it would be better. But again, we didn't even get hit by Krark-Clan Shaman today, and Krark-Clan is like Krark plus Toxin Analysis is horrible for this deck. We did play a matchup that the deck was built for in the Jund Gardens matchup, where we have the spells for card advantage, we have a bunch of recursion, still not good enough. Chrysalis just walls you off and you're done. We didn't have a chance to play against Red, and I imagine that there, if you get out of Lightning Bolt range fast enough, I do think you can Goldfish your opponent pretty reliably. But that's not the case every time. Overall, I think this deck is a miss for me. Maybe I'll like take a look at it again in a while. But the current lists that I've been playing, many of those I'm not even streaming, because when I come up with a brew that I think is too rough, even for whatever this channel is, I like to play a league with it first to see how it goes. Even in those lists, I had more fun and I managed to steal a game here or there. Playing Slivers, you always feel like you're on the back foot. And again, a thing that I had already thought about this deck before was that I think if the deck was a monocolor deck, obviously it would be way more consistent and maybe you would have a better shot. The problem with that is that 2 of your 1-drops are in white and 2 of your lords are in green. So if it was the opposite way, maybe you could play, like if we had, not the opposite way, if you had like 2 1-drops and 2 lords on white, maybe you could get away with only playing 8 lords and some of the other weird slivers. Or maybe if you had like at least 1 good 1-drop in green, Poisonous Sliver doesn't count. If you had 1 good 1-drop in green, maybe you could try to pull the deck into being a mono-green aggressive deck, and then you could play things like Vines of Vastwood and Rancor and those things. The way things stand currently, not a big fan. If you are a Slivers aficionado, leave a deck list in the comment. Tell me why you like the deck. Please, I would love to be wrong about this, but the deck just doesn't do it for me. Thank you very much. I hope you at least got some entertainment out of watching me get my ass handed to me today. Again, be sure to like the video, be sure to leave a comment. Just yesterday I reached 100, 2 days ago for you guys, because you're watching this on Friday. On Wednesday, I reached 100 subscribers on YouTube, which was pretty fun. I was very pleased with that. And I'm very happy with how the channel is growing. I believe I'll have some new additions for you guys starting next week with some of the videos. And that's it for me today. Stay excellent out there. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.